Okay, so now we're going to get into some more advanced uh, formulas for using spreadsheets. So when you usually start looking at advanced functions and spreadsheets, one of the first places most people start is with if statements. And so that's what we're going to look at, is being able to write in if statements. They're all over the place in coding language and the add-ons that we use. If you're familiar with and the Flubaroo add-on, I know a lot of people in our district use that. That is a bunch of if statements. So you can kind of use these to kind of display data based off of certain criteria that you set or certain conditions. So we're going to do that. So what we have here is the win-loss option here. So basically what I want this to say for our Golden State spreadsheet is if they scored more points than Cleveland, we want this to display win here. So you have our point totals for game one, our point totals for game two, game three, so on and so forth. And if if Golden State scored more points, we want this to say win. And if they didn't score more points, we want it to say lost. So we're going to write an if statement to make that happen. So do our if statement, we're just going to start equals if, and then you see that when you start typing in a statement or a formula within spreadsheets, you're going to get some options based off what you type. So it kind of recognizes that we're typing an if. So it'll pull up all the statements that start with that. And now we can begin working with it. We can select the one that works for us and click on it and move from there. So I'm going to click on if. And then you see there, it gives me the criteria for the if statement that I can begin using. And now it highlights where we are within the statement. And if everything is right in that section, the highlight will move to the next one to let you know that you're on the right track. So in this case, in the if statement, the first thing is it was looking for our logical expression. What's the condition? What's the criteria? In this case, the criteria is the score of the Golden State compared to Cleveland. And we want to say if the Warriors score in game one is greater than the Cleveland score in game one, that's our criteria. If their score is greater than Cleveland's score, that's the criteria that we want to use. So we're going to hit our comma, and you see that when we do that, it moves us to the next section, letting us know that, all right, what you have there satisfies that criteria. Now you can move on. So the next thing it's asking us is, what do you want to display if that value is true? Well, if that value is true, we want it to say win. Now you have to remember, this needs to be in parentheses. Okay, so I'm going to put win in parentheses. If I were to drag this down so you can see the whole thing, it does give you an example to let you know that needs to be in parentheses. So it's not necessarily something that you have to remember. It does show it in there. I just have this minimized. Okay, so that's what's going to display if this is if that condition is true. If the condition is false, we have to put what we want it to say as well. So I'm going to put, if it's false, we want it to say loss. Put that in parentheses and close it. Okay, so we're saying if Golden State score is greater than Cleveland score, it's going to say win. If not, it's going to say loss. And right here, you'll notice it gives you a preview of what the response will be. So this one is letting me know that based off the information that it's giving us, this is going to say win. So when I hit enter, it does in fact say win. And now I can copy this formula over to the rest of these. And all the information for us changed. So it does actually seem right. You can see the areas where the criteria is met, meaning when Golden State scored more, you can see it does display win, and when they scored less, it does display loss. So that's if statements kind of in a nutshell, and it's one of your basic, it's going to be your starting point for when you want to look at more advanced functions in spreadsheets.